channel where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on AEW. It is Wednesday night, March 1st, 2023. We got Cameron Johnson on the show tonight to talk about the Dynamite Go Home show before Revolution on Sunday. Cam, what's going on, man? I thought tonight was very, very mid. But what's going on, man? How are you doing?
What is going on, Chelsea? What is going on, people of the Big Fight Deal channel, man? I feel like it has been forever. I feel like it has been forever since I've been on this show, since I've been on this channel, discussing and, breaking down AEW Dynamite. But overall, Revolution is this Sunday. I don't know how many days that is. I don't know how many days that is. I'm not good at math. Math is not my strong suit. So I don't know how many days it is away. But Revolution coming up does look pretty solid. This is the go home show to it. I've seen better go home shows. I didn't think this was a bad show, but I didn't really think this is the best. I didn't think this is that go home show that would make people who are on the fence of ordering the show order the show. I think people who are on the fence of ordering the show aren't going to order the show. But overall, as an episode of Dynamite, I thought it was solid. Just as a go home show, I didn't think it was all that good.
I'm curious, and I'll talk more about it tomorrow. I'm curious as to see how the buy rates are going to be for this show because there's people that are always excited for the pay-per-views like myself. I think it's going to end up being a really good show, but there's legitimately people out there that are not happy with this card, and I don't think I don't know, man. I don't know. Buy rate for this pay-per-view is going to be interesting. It's going to be something to keep out for because there's some matches on there that were just either thrown together last minute or looks really awful on paper. So we're going to talk about it. This was a very mid edition of Dynamite. Appreciate y'all who jumped into the watch along for the time that I did it on the Dynamite stream. Sorry if I feel under the weather. I am going with a sore throat and a cold right now, pushing through it for the week since I can't really miss school, college with the last month. I'm pushing through it with this too, so I apologize if I feel a little bit under the weather, but let's do it. We got Dynamite from San Francisco, and it opened up with Big Bill getting a shot at the All-Atlantic Championship against Orange Cassidy. And I look at this card, Cam, and I think this card was I didn't think this was a good card tonight. Part of the reason, we had two matches related to the Firm, and I just do not give a shit about the Firm at all, man. They've fallen off a cliff fast, and I just feel like they're not really high on Tony Khan's priority list anymore. And, they've just skyrocketed down, man. Big Bill loses to Orange Cassidy with some help from Danhausen. Orange Cassidy defeats Big Bill with three orange punches. The last one was a orange punch off the top rope. He jumped off the top rope to give Big Bill the orange punch, and he retained the All-Atlantic Championship against Big Bill. And then later on in the night, they're in the medical room, and Renee Paquette is there, and she said that after Friday's attack, Chuck Taylor and Shred aren't cleared, and they can't be in the Casino Battle Royale, so their replacements are going to be Orange Cassidy and Danhausen, which we'll talk about when we get to that Battle Royal. Cam, what are your thoughts on the opening match for the All-Atlantic title? I thought it was fun, but it was just there.
I thought the opening match was fine. I thought the opening match was a fine opener. Nothing special. But a fun way to kick off Dynamite. I love seeing Big. I love seeing Big Bill. I love seeing Big Bill on television. He had he had a lot of potential in WWE. He's big cash, so y'all thought he was going somewhere, but things work out the way they do. But things work out the way they do, and they work out the way they do. Unfortunately for him, but fortunately for him, he's been able to find a home in AEW so far, and he's been able to develop a nice little spot on the card there. He's not a main event guy or anything. He's not a main event guy or anything, but he is. But he has whittled out a nice little spot on the card for himself. So I'm happy for him in that sense. I thought this match was good. I enjoyed Big Stoke on commentary, who despite the firm being ass, Big Stoke is an absolute gem. He's one of my favorite parts of Dynamite each week. And I thought this is a fine opener. Orange Cassidy winning with 3 orange punches. I like that. It protects Big Bill. So this is a fine opener.
Yeah, Cam. When it comes to managers, I feel like people don't really talk about how managers get underutilized. I feel like AEW has underutilized Big Stoke. I feel like Stokely deserves so much better than being stuck with the firm and this faction, which is a faction that's going absolutely nowhere. He had something with Jade Cargill, and then they took him away to put him with this. And to be honest with you, this sucks. And they don't talk about managers being underutilized, but I really think AEW is underutilizing Stokely Hathaway. I've talked about it a couple times in the AEW live streams. I haven't got a chance to talk about it with you. Do you feel like AEW's underutilizing him?
I would say yes. Just because he's the manager of the firm, and I don't think too many people give a shit about the firm. I don't think too many people give a shit about the firm, so I would say yes in that aspect. But I can't really say he's being underutilized because he's on television almost every week. I just think it's the group he's managing, the firm, firm is a terrible fact. The firm is a terrible faction. The firm is a terrible faction. Not too many people care about. Not too many people care about the firm. Not too many people care about the firm. It is what it is. But I think Stoke is fantastic, and I think it's more. I don't think he's underutilized. It more has to do with the gimmick. It more has to do with the faction that he's manager in. Faction is terrible. But Big Stoke is fantastic. Big Stoke is absolutely great.
Yeah. I don't know what faction he could be in, but I would give him a much better faction than this because these guys are going nowhere. These guys they're going nowhere, and there's no investment in them. So, let's talk about probably the best thing of the night. The Face of the Revolution ladder match. We had Sammy Guevara, Action Andretti, Ortiz, Eddie Kingston, Commander, AR Fox, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Konosuke Takeshita. This was basically a 6-person ladder match because early on in the match, Eddie Kingston went right after Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston and Ortiz were brawling in the match, and they really weren't part of the match. Now, there was a report that came out about Eddie Kingston being frustrated with backstage stuff in AEW. And if you guys didn't watch AEW's Road 2 for San Francisco, they had Eddie Kingston cut a promo. And he was saying that this is stupid. Why a ladder match? He has no reason to be a part of this ladder match. He has no interest in being in the ring with any of these guys in the match, maybe outside of Ortiz. And there was no care. Eddie Kingston did not care about this match. And then he was basically saying in an interview, he doesn't know if he's going to be in Sacramento next week for Dynamite. He's got to talk things out with Tony Khan. So there could be legit backstage heat with with Eddie Kingston and AEW. But I mean, I'm just gonna say it. Just for someone who was at the Ring of Honor tapings this weekend, if you guys watch the show tomorrow, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So I'll leave it at that. Cam, I'm pretty sure you know what it is. So, but I'll leave it at that. But as far as the match goes, Cam, insane. He had some memorable spots. Freaking Commander, the first time seeing Commander, he was unbelievable. That Blue Thunder Bomb off the top of the ladder by Takeshita.
That was the thing of beauty. That was the thing of beauty.
That was much better than whatever action Andretti attempted to do to Sammy Guevara, because my goodness, his leg got stuck and I legitimately thought that he broke his leg. I'm like, please be okay. Please be okay. Because that looked absolutely brutal, man. I do not want to see that again. But then Sammy Guevara later on in the match, with the help of Daniel Garcia, puts Action Andretti through a ladder with a swanton bomb. And then the end of the match, Takeshita is climbing up the ladder and takes a pounce by Powerhouse Hobbs. And this pounce was so effective by Hobbs that it broke the ladder. And I saw people complaining on Twitter while I looked on my watch along, was on my watch along. I saw people complaining on Twitter. It's like, why is there referees in the ring? There's 3 referees in the ring holding the ladder for Hobbs. I don't care if there's 5 referees. I don't care if there's 10. I don't want this man falling off the ladder, getting hurt because of the bent ladder. So I'm perfectly fine with having the referees in there helping Hobbs. Health and safety is most important in wrestling. So Hobbs is up there and he grabs the brass ring, and Powerhouse Hobbs is your new number 1 contender for the TNT Championship, and he will challenge the winner of Samoa Joe and Wardlow. And they're not waiting too long because they're doing it next Wednesday. So the winner of Wardlow and Joe at the pay-per-view faces Powerhouse Hobbs next week on Dynamite. I love it. I think he should win next week too. This was the best thing on the show by far. By far, Cam. What'd you think?
I thought this was the best thing on the entire show too. This was excellent. This was an excellent ladder match here. This was an excellent ladder match here. Ladder matches ladder matches are usually almost always car crash matches. They're usually almost always car crash matches, especially with 8 guys in there. Well, yeah, 6. But we had 6 with Eddie and Ortiz. I actually thought it was funny. Which I actually thought was funny. I laughed. Eddie thought was funny. I laughed. Eddie Kingston said, "Fuck your ladder." Eddie Kingston said, "Fuck your ladder." He said, "Fuck your ladder" match, basically. So I laughed at. So I laughed at that. But I thought this was I thought this was a fun ladder match here. First time seeing Commander. Commander can hoop. Commander was out there hooping tonight. So the Commander was out there hooping tonight. So that's always fun to see. Sammy Guevara. Look, I don't know about you, Joseph, but I had PTSD seeing Sammy Guevara wrestle for a TNT title opportunity. I've seen how his last 3 runs as TNT champion is in it. It's just a thing of where if he's anywhere near the TNT title, I get PTSD. I think about that. I think about that time period in AEW where he's with Scorpio Sky for months and months, and they got American Top Team involved. Now I just get PTSD because I don't want to witness another Sammy Guevara TNT title reign. So I get PTSD watching that. Watching him wrestle for the TNT title. But Sammy Guevara is a madman as always. And Will Hobbs, Takeshita had an awesome showing in this match here. And Will Hobbs, my man Will Hobbs won this match as he should have. I was rooting for Will Hobbs to win. I was hoping they would give the win to Will Hobbs here. Will Hobbs wins, and I hope he wins the TNT title next week. I hope he wins that TNT title next week. We'll get more into that when we do predictions tomorrow night. Spoiler alert. But man, I'm happy Will Hobbs won this match because Will Hobbs needed something. This man needed something, man. This man needed something. And the man is almost never on TV. He gets so many start stop pushes. This man needed something, and I'm glad they gave him. I'm glad they threw him a bone with this one year.
Yeah, ever since after he lost that Full Gear, they've been doing these Book of Hobbs vignettes and him walking on the street and beating up strangers and walking into a fucking gas station. They've been doing these crazy vignettes with him, and he has not legitimately not been on Dynamite in a very long time. And now he's back. He wins this. Um, Again, Cam said it. We're gonna dive more into it tomorrow night, but it's time to go all in with him. It's time to go all in with Powerhouse Hobbs. It's his time. Now is his time. So, and he got the big hometown pop. So, good for him, man. I'm sure he soaked up every moment of that. Um, this segment was actually before the ladder match, but I just completely forgot about it. So, I'm gonna go back and retract. This was so bizarre. The Elite were attacking, were doing an entrance. The lights went out. You hear these noises. People are falling on the stage. The lights come back on, and the House of Black are holding up the Trios tag titles. And they stole the Trios titles from the Elite. Cam, what a bizarre, strange build between the House of Black and the Elite. Like,
Haven't built. Hasn't been any build for this last year.
I don't get it, man. This was a match just thrown together 3 weeks before the pay-per-view. They had they had 2 months. They had 2 months to build this for this match. And they waited 3 weeks before the pay-per-view. And we never heard anything about why the House of Black, we didn't get a promo about why the House of Black were going after the Elite. It's weird, man. What do you think?
I got a hot take for you. I got a hot take for you. It goes this. It goes like this. This is my hot take. No disrespect to the House of Black. You guys know how much I love the House of Black. I would have waited. I would have waited to I would have waited with House of Black and the Elite. I think they should have waited until Double or Nothing. To be honest with you, I would have rather seen United Empire. I don't know what Will Ospreay's schedule. I don't know what Will Ospreay's schedule is. I don't know because I'm a casual New Japan viewer. I'm a casual New Japan viewer. I don't know what Will Ospreay is. Maybe Will Ospreay can't do it because he has other commitments. I don't know. But that's what I would have liked to see. I would have rather seen Will Ospreay. I would have rather seen United Open. I mean United Empire against the Elite on pay per view here. But here they got another one. But here I got another one. You remember Top Flight Top Flight and AR Fox against the Elite? I would have rather seen I don't know Revolution. Good time
Dude,
match on pay per view would be a fun match. It's an easy win for the Elite. I don't like. I understand why they blew it up on Dynamite because they feel like that's not like a big enough match on pay per view. But I would have waited with House of Black. I'll get more into why I would have waited on them when we do the predictions tomorrow. But when we do the predictions tomorrow, but I think they should have waited on House of Black, throw another trio team in there.
Dude, are you kidding me? The first time the Elite faced Top Flight and AR Fox, that match was freaking fantastic. I would have gladly seen that match on pay-per-view again. Those guys tore the house down the first time that they went at it. It was like, what, 3-4 weeks ago on Dynamite? They had a fantastic match. I would have gladly seen that over House of Black versus the Elite, which got literally 3 weeks of build with the House of Black saying absolutely nothing. So I don't get it. I don't get it, man. Another thing I really don't care about, Chris Jericho and Ricky Starks. Tonight, Chris Jericho took on Peter Avalon because Avalon was attacked by Jericho last week. So we got Jericho versus Pretty Peter. And Jericho beats him with a code breaker. Not even the Judas effect. He beat him with the code breaker. Continued to beat him down after the match. Ricky Starks, too late for the save. Jericho gets on the microphone. He says, Sunday, I'm going to show you why I'm a better wrestler and why I can beat you. But he says, there might not be no JAS on Sunday, but the JAS are here tonight, and they could be anywhere. And he turns around, and Hager and Daniel Garcia are right there. We got a 3-on-1 beatdown with Jericho and the Jericho Appreciation Society standing tall. I don't know, man. Last week, I thought they had a very good segment, Jericho and Starks did, to make their match official for Revolution. I thought that they had a great segment last week, but I don't know, man. I just do not care about this feud. Should be a really good match, but I just don't care, man. Why is Ricky Starks going after a rematch with Chris Jericho when he's already beaten him clean in the middle of the ring? Cam, I don't get it, man. What's the sense in this feud?
I don't know why. I don't know why either. To be completely honest with you, nothing I don't understand. Nothing I don't understand. How come all the baby? This isn't just AEW. This isn't just AEW. This is wrestling in general. How come? How come baby faces always late as hell to make the save? But I mean, why is that? Why do they always wait till after the person gets beat down before they come make the save? It ain't that much of a save. It's you being a jackass. You wait for them to beat me up before you come out here. You saw you at the baseball bat. What you think you was gonna do with it? That thing right there that's just a nerve wrecker of mine. That really pisses me off. That's just a nerve wrecker of mine. That really pisses me off. It really does piss me off. But I thought, that really does piss me off. But this feud with Jericho and Starks, it does not make any sense at all. This does not make any sense at all. Like, Ricky Starks wants some ring match with Chris Jericho, a man he already beat clean. It's not like Jericho cheated in that match or Ricky Starks got a tainted win. No, he beat him clean in the middle of the ring on the first Dynamite of the new year. Why is he pursuing a rematch with Chris Jericho? That makes no sense at all. But it is what it is.
Yep. I don't get it. And then there's people speculating that, Paul White might show up and help Jericho. God bless us. If that happens, my goodness, I'm going to be upset Sunday night. You'll hear it. You'll hear it, man. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. Now we move into the second half of Dynamite, and I'm being distracted on Twitter because AEW just posted a video of Eddie Kingston walking out, and there's legit clueless people saying, "Oh, Eddie Kingston's going to WWE." They don't know anything.
Work, you idiots! This is a work, you dumbasses.
He's going to Ring of Honor tomorrow, bro. He's showing up on Ring of Honor tomorrow. So.
Yeah. I saw shit on the guy. He's totally jumping ship. Eddie Kingston totally jumping ship. Oh my God, that is show.
Yep. So, clueless people, man. We got Tony Storm going up against Riho. I thought this match was very good. Nice back and forth pace between the two. Both very good workers. They said on commentary that Riho is only 25 years old, which I was blown away by because I thought she was older than 25 years old. But okay. But Soraya's on the outside. She's causing distractions. It brings out Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. And Britt Baker, she distracts Tony Storm. She actually gets involved with the referee not looking. Riho rolls up Tony Storm, and she defeats Tony And after the match, Tony goes after Britt Baker, so they brawl to the back. Meanwhile, you got Jamie Hayter in there. She's brawling with Saraya. Ruby Soho comes out. She's now brawling with Jamie and Saraya. And, excuse me, you got another pull apart brawl in AEW. I feel like it's every week now. Like in 2023 AEW, all you see, mostly all the time, not all the time, but most of the weeks, are pull apart brawls. Every week, there's a brawl in AEW, and there's referees and security guards that come out and they get their ass whooped. Am I the only one who thinks that?
Oh, you know.
Yeah. So, what'd you think of the match?
I thought the match with Tony Storm and my girl Rhea. I thought it was pretty good, man. I thought it was a very good match here. I thought it was a very good match. Ladies, no surprise here. Tony Storm loses again, which I'm not honestly that big fan of. Well, she's been losing a lot lately since she's turned heel, but since she's turned heel. But it is what it is. The post match shit, it is what it is. By the way, I don't know about you, Joseph, but it's gotten to the point when Saraya is out there in her corner, I mute the television. Saraya is annoying. Saraya is annoying as hell when she's out there. Oh my god, I just mute the television. But I thought this was a really good match here. Post match stuff here. The post match stuff here I didn't mind, and I like the fact that Ruby Soho hasn't picked a side. And to be honest with you, I hope Ruby Soho doesn't pick a side. I hope Ruby Soho for the rest of the storyline is like fuck y'all, it's like fuck y'all bitches. I don't like either one of y'all. I just want the title. So I like that part. So I like that. So I like that whole part of it. And overall, I thought this was pretty good. I thought it was just pretty standard stuff here. I thought this was good. I thought this was just pretty standard stuff here as we get the next as we get to the triple threat. So standard shit.
Yep. We had Renee Paquette standing in the ring, and she introduced Christian Cage.
Renee Paquette earned her paycheck, bro. They be having her everyone on this damn show.
I mean, she's the best
backstage in the parking lot in the ring.
I mean, she's the best in the business, man. She's awesome. She's the best reporter, best backstage interviewer in all of wrestling. You gotta love Renee. So she's standing there with Christian, and Christian's talking about how last week Jungle Boy was a coward because he had Christian in the concerto and he didn't want to pull the trigger. And then Christian showed him like a pro how it really is done and bashed his head on the chair and reminded him and the whole world how much of a loser Jungle Boy is. And he says, since Full Gear, since he's been home, he's watched Jungle Boy's matchups and he's gotten these cute roll-up victories to barely survive. When he gives Jungle Boy a golf clap, and he says, "I see you winning with these roll-up victories, and then you want to say you want to win a championship this year, a singles championship this year." Then Christian goes on board and says that he wants to win a singles championship this year as well, and that he's going to get it before Jungle Boy. And he talks about how Jungle Boy doesn't care about the championships in AEW. Jungle Boy doesn't take pride in this. Jungle Boy's a brat. And all Jungle Boy wants to do is he wants to take the championship home and he wants to show it off to his mom and he wants to show it off to his sister. Meanwhile, Christian Cage says he would treat it as prestige. And then the lights go out and we get Jungle Boy outside. They have him at a graveyard with a shovel and he's digging a huge hole and they're playing flashbacks of Christian turning on him. They're playing flashbacks of Luchasaurus turning on him. They're playing flashbacks of what happened last week. And Jungle Boy is standing there and he's crying. And then it goes off again. And there's a tombstone that says Christian Cage on it. And it goes back to Christian in the ring. Renee asks him if there's any last thoughts, and Christian walks away. I thought this was a really good segment. We did not get a confirmation on if this match is happening at Revolution or not, but if it is, I'm guessing it's some sort of no-holds-barred match. We thought we were going to find out more later in the night by Excalibur, but we didn't. So, I don't know what's happening. But, Cam, what are your thoughts on this segment? Christian and the Jungle Boy at the graveyard.
I thought this was a fine segment. I really enjoyed the segment. I really enjoyed the segment. I did. First off, I'm so happy Christian Cage is back on AEW television. I missed Christian Cage. I missed Christian on AEW television, so I am so happy he's back. I am so happy he's back. I'm so happy he's back. Christian Cage is awesome. And this feud with Jungle Boy continues to be one of the highlights in AEW. It sucks that it sucks that they had to put this feud on hiatus for a bit while Christian was injured. But this feud is one of the best things. But this feud is one of the best things of AEW television. I really enjoyed it. I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this feud a lot. And last man stand. Oh, not last man stand. To me, it looks like they're setting up a Buried Alive match here. They're setting up Buried Alive with Jungle Boy and Christian. It's fine with me. So it's fine with me. Whether it happened, I would hold off on it. I wouldn't put it on Revolution just because I think Revolution was 7 matches is perfectly fine as it is. So I would hold off on it until after Revolution. Maybe do it on like a big upset Dynamite or something. Maybe do it on like a big upset Dynamite or something. But I really did enjoy this segment.
Yeah, I mean, shit, we already got 7 matches. More than likely, it's going to happen at the pay-per-view, but we already got 7 matches, and one of them's a 1-hour Iron Man match. So, I don't know. I think the pay-per-view is fine the way it is right now, but more than likely, I do think they're going to add it to the pay-per-view because they want this rivalry on the pay-per-view. It's as simple as that. But we have the Casino Tag Team Battle Royale. I don't even want to talk about this for a long time. This was bad. Right when we had the backstage segment of Chuck and Trent not being cleared because they got attacked on Rampage with Orange Cassidy and Danhausen taking their place, I knew right then and there that Orange Cassidy and Danhausen were going to win this match. And that's exactly what happened. This match was weird. They had the Blackpool Combat Club and the Dark Order brawling the whole time. For some reason, they had Smart Mark's group take out the Lucha Brothers. So we got the Lucha Bros feuding with freaking Tony Nese and Arya Davari. That's great. We got and then last 2, Orange Cassidy and Danhausen to the Butcher and the Blade, and Danhausen eliminates both of them. So in 2023, we got a pay-per-view tag title match of the Guns defending against the Acclaimed, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. And listen, man, does this match look great on paper? Absolutely not. I would much rather see a better match for the tag team titles than this match. But people have gone on record saying how bad this match is going to be, and it could be a horrible match. But AEW has proved us wrong on a lot of occasions, Tony Khan can easily have these 8 guys go out there and put on an absolute banger and a possible match of the night. I'm not saying it's going to be the match of the night, but Tony Khan could have these guys go out there and put on a banger. They're all capable of doing it, so. But we'll see. But it's just weird, man. Just from last year, we had Jurassic Express, the Young Bucks, and Red Dragon for the tag team titles. Now this year, we have this for the tag team titles. It's quite a fall off, man. Quite the fall off. But what are your thoughts, Cam?
I thought this was a bad. I thought this tag team battle royal was bad. Just very bizarre booking in this one. I don't have an issue with Orange Cassidy and Danhausen winning this match here. I don't. Just like I didn't have an issue last week with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal winning. My more issue with everything is if they were to do this match in like a special episode of Dynamite, okay, fine. This doesn't feel like a pay-per-view match for the tag team titles. It just doesn't. This feels like, and I'm playing it right now. You know what it feels like? This feels like what happens when you're playing WWE 2K and you hit randomize in the universe mode, and and you hit sim in the universe mode for like 3 straight years, and you're at SummerSlam, and you look at what the card is booked, and there's just a bunch of weird matches. You have like Baron Corbin. You have like Baron Corbin as WWE champion, Dana Brooke is the women's champion. Then you got some match like this. It just feels very bizarre. This match just feels very very bizarre. The way they're booking it so far. This is not what I was expecting to be on Revolution. No, I don't think anybody could have bet that this is going to be the tag team title match at Revolution. And if you did bet it, you should, and if you did bet that these would be the teams in this match here, you should be playing the lottery right now, man. Golly, my God.
I don't get it. I mean, this is a match you would create on like you said, this was a match you would create on 2K in WWE, and then there's people saying after tonight with Orange Cassidy and Danhausen winning. I mean, last week, I'll say it in this. Last week, I did have a problem with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal winning because you had so many better options to go with for the pay-per-view. This week, I did not have an issue with Orange Cassidy and Danhausen going over, even though the Battle Royal was really bad. Yes, I did not have an issue with going over because do you want the Lucha Bros in a match with comedy tag teams? Let's be real. Cam, let's be real. Is Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, in your eyes, a comedy tag team?
I would say yes. They're damn good comedies. I love Jeff Jarrett.
Or the Ass Boys a comedy tag team, even though they're the tag team champions?
Yes, the Ass Boys suck.
How about the Acclaimed? Are they a comedy tag team? Everybody loves them. I love them.
I wouldn't say they're not. I would say no, just because they have shown. I would say no, just because they have gotten like over like the past year and a half, they have gotten a little bit more serious. They have gotten a little bit more serious. Sure, they do some comedy segments here and there, but Jericho does comedy native. I don't think anybody looks at Chris Jericho and go, "Oh, Jericho's a comedy wrestler," even though he does do comedy. So what's it called? So that's kind of where I would like draw the line. Be like with the Acclaimed. I don't think the Acclaimed are like comedy. I wouldn't call them comedy wrestlers, even though they do comedy. If that makes sense. Like even though like comedy is like in their act, like even though comedies in their act with the whole the whole freestyle rap thing, I wouldn't say they're comedy wrestlers because Jericho does comedy. Jericho's one of the most. Jericho does comedy. Jericho's the biggest name on the roster. So
yeah, I agree with that. So my point is, outside of the Acclaim, do you want a tag team like the Lucha Bros, who's freaking one of the best tag teams in the world, high flying, and non-action packed. Do you want them in the match with these guys? No. You would rather see them in a much better match. So I mean, for this match, I mean, I guess I will take Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. But is it me, or do I feel like that in the backstage interview, when the best friends said they weren't cleared, that Trent and Chuck looked really pissed at Orange Cassidy and Danhausen? Could we be seeing the best friends splitting up in the near future?
Couldn't see. I couldn't see it, but I hope not.
You can?
I can see it, but I hope not.
I don't think it's happening, but I'm just throwing it out there. So, um, before we get to the last segment, which was MJF and Bryan Danielson, we got Revolution Sunday live on pay-per-view. We got predictions tomorrow night. Myself, Cameron Johnson, and Wesley Williams talking about the card. Not sure if I'm going to be doing a watch along. I don't know if I want to do a 4-hour watch along. And I'm not sure about doing. I'll let you guys know what my plans are for Sunday. But the card, we got 60-minute Iron Man match for the AEW World Championship. Bryan Danielson versus MJF. AEW Women's Championship. Saraya, Ruby Soho, and Jamie Hayter in a triple threat match. Fatal 4-way for the tag team titles. Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett versus Orange Cassidy and Danhausen versus the Acclaimed versus the Guns for the tag team titles. TNT Championship, we got Wardlow against Samoa Joe. Trios tag team titles, we got the Elite defending against the House of Black. We got Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley in a Texas death match. And Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks with the Jericho Appreciation Society band at ringside. And more than likely, we'll have Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy in some stipulation match. So the final segment, we're back on air, and Bryan Danielson's making his entrance. Renee Paquette is present again. She hopefully got a good paycheck tonight. Hopefully she got a good paycheck. And Bryan Danielson said that, 7 years ago, he was forced to retire from professional wrestling. And a few years later, he came back to professional wrestling, and he said a line, and if you fight for your dreams will fight for you. And out came MJF. Bryan immediately cuts off MJF and he says, "You've done enough talking. All you do in life is talk. I know you hate me. You hate me because people call me the best wrestler in the world while you're the AEW champion. People, you hate me because I get all the support while nobody shows support with you. You hate me because I have a beautiful wife that you don't have. You hate me because I have 2 beautiful kids that you wish you had." He says MJF has deserved nothing in life. MJF has went through shortcut after shortcut after shortcut, and he dropped the line of the only thing that you deserve in life is your fiance dumping your ass. That line.
Savage as hell. That is savage as hell.
I didn't know if that was true after last week, but then Meltzer revealed that that is actually true. And MJF's fiance did, in fact, leave him. So, I mean, that was freaking savage by Bryan Danielson. And then Danielson's talking more about how the first time around, how he's had to scratch and claw through his entire life. He's had to fight his entire life. He said he fought in authority. He's fought in monsters. He's fought in the best wrestlers in the world. He's facing the biggest tough guys in the world, and MJF hasn't fought for anything. He said he left the company to come here to AEW to wrestle and to fight. And he said, Sunday, I am ready for a 60-minute war. And he says, MJF, if you are not ready, he says, MJF, in order for you to possibly keep your AEW World Championship, you have to fight for 60 minutes. And if you don't come ready for a 60-minute war, I'm going to kick your fucking head in. And that got a big pop by the Sacramento crowd. And we get a face-off between Danielson and MJF to end the show. Great segment. I thought last week's segment was better, but there were some great lines dropped by Bryan Danielson. And let's be real, we don't have to have a spoiler for the predictions video tomorrow. This promo made me want Bryan Danielson to win the match. This promo was like, oh my God, I actually want to see Bryan win the World Championship. But if we're being honest, there's probably about a 2% chance that Bryan Danielson is walking out of Revolution on Sunday, AEW World Champion. Do I want him to win? Yes. Realistically, MJF is the right decision by far. But emotionally, that segment made me want Bryan Danielson want to take the World Championship away from MJF. What were your thoughts on the final segment in the Bryan Danielson MJF saga?
I thought this was an excellent segment. I thought this was an excellent segment. I thought this was an excellent segment, as short as it was. I wish AEW would have had an overrun in this. I wish AEW would have had an overrun in this sense. I think this segment definitely could have benefited from like an extra 5 minutes. But in the short amount of time that this segment was, I thought this was a really good segment. I thought this was a really good segment with these two guys here. And this is the match here that I think people are most looking forward to here. And this is a segment here that I think most people will order the pay-per-view. Watch Bryan Danielson kick MJF's ass. I think the feud has been great. I think the segment has been great. And I think the match is going to be great. Even though we all know the outcome, it's not going to take away from it being a great match. So, yeah.
I think the matches, dude, I think Bryan Danielson is going to bring the best out of MJF. We'll talk more about it tomorrow night, but I'm so intrigued as to how Tony Khan is going to book this match for 60 minutes and keep people invested in this match for 60 minutes. It's going to be a test. It's going to be a true test for him. And this match, we'll talk about it more tomorrow night. I can't wait. Tomorrow night, preview and predictions on the Big Fight Field channel with myself, Cameron Johnson, and Wesley Williams talking about AEW Revolution. But guys, that is going to do it for tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel. As I just said, we'll be back tomorrow night for AEW Revolution predictions. And guys, we are so close to 500 subscribers on the channel. We are at 496. We're 4 subs away from 500 on the Big Fight Field channel. Leave your comments down below. Your thoughts on tonight's AEW Dynamite show. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from myself and Cameron Johnson. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok at Conlon_Joseph. Cam, where can they follow you, my friend?
Follow me on Twitter at Cam71101. And yeah.
Guys, we'll see you tomorrow night here on the channel. Preview and predictions for AEW Revolution. Myself, Cameron Johnson, and Wesley Williams. So long, everybody. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. I'm out. Peace.
Peace.